Hey, Coach.
Great. Good to meet all of you. So, what can I answer for you all about our defense?
Well, what's kind of your early take on what you've seen so far from these guys?
I'm excited about the way everybody works here. There's a definite mindset of focus and concentration, and it means something to everybody on this field. Offensively, it's been fun how much they've embraced the opportunity to learn a new offense, and really have been excited about it seems.
How different would you say it is or it's going to be versus what it was?
I don't know. I really wasn't here. I didn't look at much film of what it was, so actually don't really know the answer to that question.
Would it be similar to something you ran previously, maybe at Miami or?
Yeah, I think that there's going to be certainly, plays that we've run at all the spots, whether it be at Michigan or Jacksonville or Miami or Minnesota. But each year you also learn, and you grow and you evolve, and you start seeing maybe what's working best and what's not working best, and what players you have, and everybody has a little bit different of a skill set, and you have different quarterbacks each year. Trying to break that streak right now. I think I'm at this 13th straight year of a different quarterback, but I'm looking to break that streak and have the same one for 2 years. But we definitely look at really what they do best, what our receivers do best, and then make a decision on what we can do in the passing game. And in the running game, we have to see what our backs have the best feel for, how our offensive line blocks it up, and our tight ends, and then kind of go from there.
Last year there was a pretty big rotation in both running backs and in receivers. I think 20 guys caught passes. Well, that includes the running backs, and then 5 guys carried the ball. Do you like a tighter rotation in that? Do you like mixing in lots and lots of guys? How do you feel about that?
I think it's always good to get a lot of guys touches, a lot of guys opportunities if they deserve it, if they can influence. I think if you went back and looked at Michigan, for example, I think 90% of the offense came from 3 guys with Jake, JU, and Amara. So in the passing game. The running game was a little bit more dispersed, but other places, we were fortunate enough in Jacksonville that Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, and Marquise Lee almost set the record. I know that 2 receivers set the record for the first 2 rookies ever to each have over 40 catches, and Marquise Lee had 39, so they all 3 would have had it. So we kind of, spread it out there. So it's really all about who we have and what we can do.
The running game, obviously, last year was kind of the big Achilles heel. What do you think it will, and I know you said you didn't really go back and look, but what do you think it will take to kind of reverse that and get some gains there?
I'm really excited about Coach Fraley, really excited about Coach Foster. I think those 2 guys do a tremendous job. I know that obviously having Coach Rip here again for the 2nd year will really help us there as well. So you have a great combination of tight end coach, O-line coach, running back coach. I think you marry your system up so your pass game and your run game complement one another. They're not 2 separate entities. So we should be able to have a nice, hopefully run-pass marriage and run-pass options there. And then on the same token, hopefully that everybody understands the commitment you have to make to be a good running team. You have to fight for an extra yard if it presents itself. You have to make the explosive play if it's there. There's always a lot of runs for 2 yards and 3 yards, but the ones that actually allow you to have the big rushing days are the ones when you could break one. When you have that one 38-yard run, that one 50-yard run, and then the rest of them are what they are, and they just change. It skews your average, but it helps you be a great running team.
You mentioned not watching much film from last year. Is that just because you don't know the assignments and stuff like that, so it's tough to get an evaluation off that? Or
yeah, I always think it's tricky. Fortunately / unfortunately, I don't know how you want to look at it, that I've been in a bunch of different places in the year ones. So we were year 1 in Michigan, we were year 1 in Jacksonville, we were year 1 in Miami or year 1 in Seattle. So when you go to those places, you're year 1, there's not many holdovers. There's not many guys that were on the staff prior. So all of a sudden you start trying to either judge on the staff before you or guess. And I'm really not into either. I'd much prefer to be able to speak in facts and be non-judgmental. So I felt like if I watched it, I wouldn't know what they were told. I wouldn't know who was making a mistake on a certain play. I wouldn't know any of that. I know they had really good coaches here, so I don't want to sit there and try to kind of look at the film and guess. So I didn't really see much of a value.
Now, does that make the springtime here more important for evaluating the guys on your roster as opposed to priorities if you had been here a year prior?
Yeah, no question. It's super important. I mean, we are you know, we're trying to run a lot of plays and see what our guys can do and see who can step up and really be good at what we do. You know, I really want to see who's good at what we do. We as a staff want to evaluate our guys every day we watch practice, and we're not just evaluating the scheme where you normally would in year 2, year 3. How can we tweak this or make this a little better? You know, maybe we should adjust this route. We're more saying, can this guy run that route? Can this guy run the ball on an outside zone? Can this guy run the ball in a power scheme? Or are we a better team if we run inside zone here? And that's kind of where we're at right now.
What's been your impression of the quarterbacks so far?
Excited about how hard they compete and how hard they work. I think that Josh is a very, very good passer. Very good passer. And really cares a lot about the game. And really is working hard at it. And has really embraced what we've asked of him in terms of studying and preparedness and leadership on the field and trusting what we're telling him that, hey, you know, we might ask you to do something a little bit different. And we know that doing what you've done has gotten you all the way to where you're at. We want to try to help you even get higher than that and better than that. So he's been phenomenal to coach, and I think obviously we all know his talent level is extremely high. Really enjoyed the younger guys that have been here, both Devon and Matt, and also Austin Burton arrived on campus on Saturday, and super impressed with the way he carries himself. I've been around guys that are young and have never been in a room, kind of have their eyes wide open and, you know, their mouths wide open, and they're just trying to figure out what's going on, and he's not like that. He's really embraced it, smart, focused, and throws a nice ball.
How far along do you think they are in getting your playbook at this point?
We got some work to do there, but that's okay. It's only the second practice. We have 13 more of those, and then we have, then it's really up to them. And that's where I think, you know, you're a little different in the NFL, where you can really take them all the way through June. Here come April 29th, that they're back on their own. And it's really, that's where they're going to have to thrive. May, June, and July on their own, they're going to have to become the absolute best at teaching each other and embracing the system and looking at cut-ups, looking at video, and really doing everything they possibly can to become really good.
What are the new things that you're trying to get Josh to do to take the next step forward, like you mentioned?
Well, I think there's always going to be a different coaching point. Maybe a play that he's run before had one read, maybe we teach a different read. Maybe with his, you know, the way you take a snap, maybe the drops we're asking him to have. There's always going to be a little bit of flavor, right, that we add. A new staff or a new coach. Maybe I've learned it one way and he learned it another, and you know, we try to come to a nice compromise on what's the best way for him to do it. But you know, I think that he would say that we're challenging him a little bit in terms of, hey, you know, maybe get out of your comfort zone on this, you know, or on another token, hey man, I'll get out of my comfort zone and I'll embrace what you do well. But there's going to be always everything from the fundamentals to the reads to just the pure sometimes he can just make a play because of his arm talent, and I got to embrace that too.
Are there any quarterbacks you've worked with in the past that you feel he's kind of similar to?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I've kind of, trying to be thinking that about. I've been thinking that a lot, and there's traits of many, but they've all been a little bit unique. They all have a little bit different of a skill set, and I would hate to, compare him to somebody, and then all of a sudden that becomes the story, right? The story is not that he's the next anything. Our goal is to be the first Josh Rosen and do that really well.
At what point do you start familiarizing yourself with defenses in the Pac-12 to kind of get a sense of what you're going up against?
Well, my family hasn't moved up here yet, so I got a lot of time. So I've been able to do both,
Okay.
And get a little bit of a feel for what we're going to be playing, and then on the same token, really spend a lot of time on what we need to do. And now that we actually have film to look at, now we're on our second day of film to look at, we can get a nice sense of where we stand, and hopefully Saturday's practice will be a little bit better than today's.
Last question, guys.
How do you feel that the personnel fit the schemes you like, and do you kind of have a label for the type of offense you like to run?
Just offense, just an offense, just one in which where we try to, we just play ball, move the ball the best we possibly can with the guys that we have, and we like to look for matchups if we could find them. We like to see how many different guys can run the same plays. Maybe a tight end could run it one period, maybe a receiver another, maybe a running back another. And but we kind of just run, what I'm accustomed to running, what I've been around for really most of my career or all my career, and just kind of see what our guys do best and do that. And we don't really label our offense other than the fact that we just hopefully it's one that can move the ball. That's kind of the ultimate goal.
Thanks, Ted.
Thank you guys.